All right. Hey, everybody. It's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. And see what we get in here this morning. It is a weekend, so it's going to be a little hit or miss. Let this run a little bit, see what we have going on. So, off day for training for me. We're just going to do fasted cardio, which is my normal now on the weekends. It's kind of nice to only lift 5 days a week. But doing six, it was different. Especially noticed a lot of my weekend work. It could be conflict with client stuff and those things. So I like to get calls and things in a lot of times on the weekends. So yeah, it's kind of funny. I used to do four and then I switched to five, then six, and I got used to the six. And I was like, oh, it's nice to cut back to five. I think that's closer to a sweet spot for me in terms of my training. All right, that 6 day it seemed like it caused almost certain areas to overtrain. All right, because the more I look at it, I definitely agree. This infinite volume thing doesn't work. I couldn't see that any of the muscles I was doing 20 plus sets a week for grew any faster. Like no evidence at all, no faster progression, no strength, nothing. So again, I think those circles of the evidence-based community are flat wrong. But that's the problem, with exercise science. There's conflicting data, and then people are like, well, these are what all these studies show, but then you have a dozen studies that show the opposite, and it's all low quality research for the most part. Um, and again, what's fascinating, none of those sort of volumes have ever been required to be the best in the world. What's your current leg routine at the moment? I don't know if it's a routine per se. So how do we want to break it up, Otto? Do you watch my vlogs? Like you can watch every single rep I do for the past 6 years. There's not one rep of leg exercises that's not dated and listed. So I'm assuming leg, do we mean anterior or posterior dominant? Because I don't count the posterior as a leg day. I call it glute and hamstring day. But if we're talking squat pattern dominant, it's usually squats, back squats. I rotate through the types. Sometimes I did the last couple of weeks, I did high bar. And then I do belt squats and leg extensions and then abs. And if I feel like that I've been doing some calves, I don't know that I really need calves. I don't know that I need it. My calves grow even from my squats and my cardio. So like yesterday, for example, we did two top end sets of squats. Like I did 455 pounds for 3 reps on a high bar squat with no sleeves. And then I backed down to 4 plates aside and knocked out 5. But I left reps in the tank there. Then we did sets of 8 to 10 on the belt squat. Then I did 4 sets of 15 on the leg extension. And then some abs and called it a day. All right. Posterior end, it tends to be, I don't know who Wayne King is. I have plenty of people who get to 4 plate squats. I don't think, I don't need to look at anyone else's routines for that. I routinely get clients there all the time. I have the free programs you even need to do that. So could you tell me what the routine is that you are asking me about? Because I've never heard of Wayne King. I don't know who that is. So there's no way I've read his programming. Right? Straps for curl, strap on this. You think he would go let go of all that strap stuff after you named him strap on based on that? And he goes even harder on straps, right? I'm gonna keep calling him strap. He lives true to the name, man. I mean, strap on destiny. He has lived up to it in every way. Hey, Otto, a 12-week program where you don't squat at all and just do machines to get up to 4 plates. Notice my face. No squatting at all, no box squats, no speed squats, no bar on your back, huh? No, I can't endorse this. I'd at least like to see 1 set of squats in there every week. Can I get someone to a 4-plate squat with 1 set of squats a week? Yeah, but 0? I'm going to go with probably not. You can do most of your hypertrophy with machines though, and do just fine. Hey, Jason, I have limited gym space. Would you recommend buying the Camber Bar SSB? What's going on with your programming? Maybe. What are we trying to do here? Man, I really like that Cambridge bar though. So you mean a Cambridge squat bar, right? Since you said SSB, I'm assuming you mean a Cambridge squat bar, not some sort of Buffalo bar or Cambridge bench bar or anything. All right. Man, the Cambridge squat bars take a lot of space though. I'm not gonna lie, they take a lot of space. Like mine's 85 pounds and it's big, right? So you may have to hang some of it on the wall, which you might have to think about doing. I've had clients who do that. Remember Brett? That's what he did. Did you guys give some likes here, by the way? There's more people asking questions than there are likes. Help a brother out. That's actually what gets more people in here faster, by the way. It's the reason people are like, I don't see it pop in my alerts, because people don't like. And then doesn't hit in people's works. Your opinion on semen retention. Otto, do you want me to ban you or ignore you? Like, no sane person thinks that that's a thing. Okay. So you want to harm your physical and mental health. That's what you're asking me. Or are we asking me, do I think it's horrifically stupid? I'm going to go with it's horrifically stupid. I think it's bad for your physical and mental health. And so because some athletes do something really stupid that harms your physical and mental health, that means you should do it. If this is our justification, then why don't you smoke crack? There are pro athletes who smoke crack. There's plenty of pro athletes who beat the hell out of their wives and girlfriends too, smoke crack, do all sorts of other stuff. So since some pro athletes do it, why don't you? You're new to my channel. That's okay. I make fun of the pro athletes do. I've made whole videos explaining that don't use what pro athletes do for things outside of the gym or whatever to base your things. I've done whole explanations as to why pro athletes will be conned into every goofball crazy thing. And that's okay because they have $100,000 extra to spend and throw away on crazy ideas every year. And if there's any chance one of the 20 things they try works, it could be worth $1 million to them. Makes sense? So they try everything. They do the kitchen sink approach. This has been studied, by the way. Abstaining from sex does not improve performance at all. This has been studied. It does not help in any way. Do you do steroid coaching for my enhanced clients? Yes, that is part of it, if they're on. Emmett, hey Jason, loving the program you designed for me. Yep, I remember. Is there any reason why the first rep feels the hardest on deficit deadlifts when taking a 2-second pause when the plates hit the floor? Yeah, because you're not lined up the same. So in other words, you're not good at first reps yet. So until you get really good at first reps, the first rep tends to be hardest on a deadlift, on sometimes even a 2 or 3 rep set. It's really common. You got to work on getting tighter on your setup. You may be getting tighter and dropping into a better start position. I always feel weaker on the first working set. Any idea why? Your nervous system hasn't picked up the pathway yet on that big exercise. That's the only argument for warm-up sets, by the way. This is why we do warm-up sets, to kind of crackle everything into place for movement and to get the motor pattern down. It's purely neurological. There's no injury reduction benefits to warming up on exercises. But there is a nervous system aspect. And I got to remember to do that more when I go to grab 585 plus. I need to remember to take 2 warm-ups, not one. That's a bad habit. Probably affected me the other day. Like you want to get a couple reps in. I have a habit of on deadlifts, if I'm not going to do an all-out single, of only doing 1 warm-up rep, just to kind of get in that groove. But I really do need a couple. So I should probably always do a 500 in a second if I'm going to do singles. But yeah. So it's your nervous system. What's my opinion on the Wes Watson drama? Although I've discussed it ad nauseum, I've got whole live streams dedicated to it. You can flip back to it. Thanks, man. I also find the heavy work makes the rep work feel easier. Not skipping warm-ups for the heavy work is a big one. Yeah, just don't get excessive in warm-ups. Where people mess up, they go crazy on warm-ups instead of saying, what do I really need? What is the minimum I need to perform optimally on this set? So even for me, like when I've hit my PRs for 315 bench rep work, I only did about 6 or 7 reps before that set total. Did you see the new Mars bar that Titan Fitness has? No, I haven't. I mean, the Mars bars seem okay. I've never been that enamored with them. Does one need a slant board to fully work out calves? No. I need advice. My girlfriend wants me to quit the gym so I can spend more time with her. She also says I'm overbulking and getting fat. I'm going to give you 2 separate answers. Well, if you are overbulking and getting fat, then stop overbulking and getting fat. Why are you doing that? I tell you guys not to do that, right? So stop. Your girlfriend wants you to quit your fitness journey. Cut her loose. Your wife wants you to quit your fitness journey. Your husband, divorce them. Your best friend doesn't want you to work out. Cut them out of your life. Like that's grounds for divorce. If you are a husband or a wife and you start to lose weight or join a gym to work out and your partner doesn't want you to do it, that should be automatic red flag divorce papers. They do not love you. Let me state that again. That is absolute evidence that they do not really love you. Proof beyond a shadow of a doubt. You get rid of them immediately. Like literally, if you're married to them, I don't care that you take oaths before God. They don't love you. They're toxic. Get them out of your life. So tell her, show her what I said in that stream. If she does not love you, dump her. Would 200 tests, 200 primo crash you for someone around 15% body fat? I don't know. It depends on the person. Maybe. It would crash me. May not crash you. But I don't know. It depends on what we estimate my body fat. She even told me not to walk around shirtless. It makes her feel self-confident. Yeah, she got to go. No, she's got to go. You don't need that. You don't need insecure women like that in your life. Go find a woman who's secure in her body. Doesn't matter what she looks like. Doesn't matter if she's fat or skinny. She just needs to be secure in her body. Like, because if you're fit and you care at all about your health and you have an insecure partner, yeah, you get rid of them. Yeah, I've had a wife who was like that. We're divorced. Ultra jealous. Ultra jealous. Do you have to run tests higher? I have to run tests higher. How do you feel about over-exercising compared to not exercising at all? That's a pretty easy one. You're still better off exercising too much than being sedentary. Being sedentary is deadly. But why do we need to pick between those extremes? Why don't we just not over-exercise? Problem solved. No, I will never pick a person being sedentary. A person on chemotherapy with severe cancer needs to be lifting weights. Okay. In fact, that's medically supported. It doubles their chances of surviving the chemo, by the way. So no, there's no excuse to be sedentary. No excuse at all, ever, for anybody. I won't tolerate it. And you shouldn't either. We should have a zero tolerance policy on people not exercising and being sedentary. It should be against the law or something. Or at least be socially stigmatized. Right? That's a case where even bullying would be a good thing in society. Ooh, bully people into it not being sedentary. We need a whole social movement. The world would be better for it. All right. Notice I didn't say body shame them. I just said about being sedentary. In bed for a year sick. Yep, I was, but I'm not going to address you because I know who you are. Is the body mass index outdated? Or is it still good? That doesn't apply when you use steroids. The average person will never lift weights enough to gain enough muscle for the BMI to not be accurate. I mean, you got to be on the extreme end. The average person at the gym will not gain enough muscle to make it invalid. Like, you got to be super hardcore. If you only do list for full body movement, I'm not entertaining that. There's no way I cut down to 2. We could make a case for 3 or 4 in an extreme. It's still not ideal. There's no way I'm only doing 2. I'm not even going to entertain that one. Sorry. Mm-mm. Do you still stick to your position? Should test to be capped to no more than 250? No, it depends on how extreme you are. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. But strong, it depends on how extreme goals are and how well. I mean, there are cases where sometimes you can go higher and manage the E2 with something like Primo. But again, we are getting towards fairly extreme goals. I would say the majority of your users are probably better off capping around 250 and then running milder anabolics. But we can make an exception for someone who Primo handles their E2 fairly well. Because usually it's the issue is with the 250 is controlling estrogen without an aromatase inhibitor is the concern. Makes sense? But if Primo does it for you, you may be able to go higher with Primo. But again, you're getting, towards his own animal. But I guess that's really goal specific. But for most of you, it'll be a lot easier if you follow that rule. Would you legalize steroids and other drugs or just steroids? I think steroids are, compared to most hard drugs, are relatively harmless by comparison. So I think that we need to look at drugs on a case-by-case basis and determine how safe are they to put in public. Are they truly deadly and addictive? So here's what I'm going to say. I think cannabis should be unrestricted. For example, I think any adult, if you're an adult, if you're legally an adult, you should be able to buy cannabis products. And that's not true where I live, by the way. So that would be up there. Anabolics, for the most part, should be over the counter. If we're going to have anything be like, if we're going to have alcohol legal, there's zero reason for anabolics to be illegal. Objectively speaking, anabolics are not as bad. But I mean, harder drugs, no, I don't think we should have harder drugs fully legal. Meth, crack, heroin, no, fentanyl, I don't think so. But you asked for my opinion. Just getting opinion here. It's nothing more than my opinion. No one's going to listen to me. I can assure you Donald Trump and Elon Musk are not going to take my opinion on it seriously. So it's just my opinion. Do camber bar good mornings target the posterior chain better? I feel like they do more. They do more than the SSB, a little more. The SSB is a little more upper back dominant and mid back dominant. Rashid, I agree. Alcohol being illegal and such and a positive part of our culture is crazy to me, while stuff like steroids, right? Like testosterone being restricted, but alcohol with the death toll that it causes. I mean, let's set aside the fact that it's a poison. Let's set aside the cancer. Like we know even one drink a month increases cancer risk according to the data. Measurable amount, one drink. So set all that aside, but just look at the sheer amount of social harm. Look at the carnage that it causes. The violence, the drunk driving deaths, the accidents. It's staggering. That's what makes me like question our values as a society. We literally talk about AR-15s as a social menace. The death toll from drunk driving versus rifle deaths in the U.S., they're not even within 5 tiers of each other. Let me state that again. AR pattern rifles have killed less civilians in America in the entirety of their existence, which is over 50 years at this point. They've been legal for 50 plus years in the US. They've killed less people in that 50 years than drunk drivers kill in 3 months. Run the numbers. Let me state that again. Every 3 months, drunk drivers kill more people in the US than AR pattern rifles have in 50 years. Year round. Yet you see one screamed about on the news. Those are the numbers, guys. Again, the drunk driving death toll and driving drunk is illegal. Still kills over 10,000 people every year. Like straight up, you right now are 1,000 times more likely to be killed by a drunk driver than you are in a mass shooting. Just straight up, today, tomorrow. Over 1,000 times more likely that you're going to lose your life to a drunk driver in the US. But, let that one sink in. Do you feel college courses like anatomy and physiology can give bodybuilders an edge in training? Perhaps. Yeah, absolutely. Like if you actually know what the muscles do, kind of a big deal. Like the mere fact that I have to explain that I do any shoulder extension or rotation on a curl because it's one of the functions of the bicep and people don't know that is staggering. It's one of the basic functions of the muscle, guys. It's what it does. And Mastermind says, I hate alcohol and cigarettes. Yeah, I do too. And I have multiple close friends who still have drinking problems. Multiple close friends. I know I do my best to be supportive, and I've watched the different routes. Like if you saw my thing yesterday, Ariel and I talked about it. That so if you check my collab stuff, hold up, I did a collab on that. I can link that here. Like we talked about some of those things. Let me see if I can get it to link. Can I link it? How do I link it directly? I don't always. There we go. Got the link. If you guys want to check that out. I'm not going to go into what I've used on Blasses right now, strong. I'm just on 125 tests right now. Like literally, that's my whole stat. So I'm just on a prescription dose of tests from the doctor. Coach, got your chat with Churchill loaded, going to listen this weekend. No, I've never watched any of Boogie's videos, and I don't have to give him advice. Isn't he really fat? My advice would be to lift weights and eat some protein and cut out the junk food. I know that guy's fat, right? He's like a gamer, I think. If I remember. I vaguely remember who he is. Yeah. See, I could help that guy. yeah, Matt, yeah, check it out, dude. You'll probably enjoy it. I mean, we go into a lot of off-topic type stuff a bit. But yeah, so we're going to do more of those. So he wants to do more. Um, he says he doesn't mind being trolled. He's like, dude, trolls already mess with me offline and his kids and everything else. So not a big deal to him. Usually that's been the problem with collab work. People can't handle the heat. Um, but Ariel's done fine with it. In fact, um, what I found with like Ariel when we collab, she like every time one of these stalkers harass her at her business or home, it makes her want to do another collab with me, like just as a pushback, just out of spite. So it's kind of interesting how different people operate. Like a lot of people are weak; they cave. It's like that Ghetto Boys song: "If you're flimsy, then your ass is going to bend." You know? Yeah, so he and I should be good there. We'd chat about all of it even after. He don't care. So we'll do some more of those. And I thought it was interesting. That was interesting because I got to chat with someone else who's dealt with the real life stalking aspect of this stuff, right? And has learned to just deal with it. They just accept it's part of the game. Is there any benefits to heavy dumbbell curls? How heavy? I mean, progressive overload builds muscle. So yes. You should definitely over time be getting heavier on the dumbbells. Yeah. I don't know if they're fat, they're thick. They're definitely not fat. Forearms are reasonably lean. No, I wouldn't do dumbbell curls for fives personally. I feel like we're getting into potential bicep rupture territory for no extra growth. Do you feel any height under 5'10"? 5'10" is above average height. So yeah, under 5'10". So you're talking about 60% of the population is under 5'10" in America. For men, no, I don't think so at all. I think taller guys are way bigger off camera. So, Schismo, do you mean when in a bodybuilding lineup, or do you mean in pictures, or do you mean side by side? Because 3-4 inches of height, you will mog somebody if you both lift. You will straight mog them in person. So are you talking in person? Or do you mean in pictures or on a bodybuilding stage in the lineup? 6 foot is way, dude. Go look at the percentage, Medi. 6 foot plus is actually a pretty small chunk of the population. It's something like 20% of American men, or 25 or something or less. I could be wrong, but it's somewhere in that range. So Schism, taller guys in person will look bigger and more jacked. On a camera, they will look skinnier and less jacked. Make sense? It's the proportions. The little short arms and stuff make guys look way thicker. Little stumpy arms. Yeah. Some of those Scandinavian countries, actually, the Netherlands is the tallest, I believe. I think the Netherlands and Iceland. But those are small population countries. Mastermind, exactly. Yeah. I know both is good. Do you prefer hammer curls or regular? I think regular curls are going to get better overall. I think hammer curls have their place, though. I think hammer curls have their place, but it's not going to be better bicep. A supine grip is going to give you better bicep. But hammer positions for the brachialis, brachial radialis. Derek Poundstone is 6'1". He's the strongest cop in the world. Yeah. Rise and grind, King. Yep. I've already made a grocery store run. That's why I'm a little more awake. This is my first cup of coffee, but I ran and picked up some foods. Oh man, this silly troll is just, yeah, you're not going to get a rise out of me. Sorry, dude. Just not going to happen. Top away though, man. All right. What's some exercise that you do every day without overtraining? I know training. Core can be sometimes, yeah. I don't know that there's anything that's really loading a joint that I would recommend you do every day. As I've gotten older, I found this is really, really just kind of beat you up for no real benefit. Do you listen to podcasts while working out? Just music. Pro and incline strict curls with the easy bar has been my go-to for biceps. Interesting. How well has it worked? I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad exercise either, by the way. I could see that. So you're talking about prone across the bench, so laying down on the incline bench, like face down. I could see that actually being a good exercise. I'm from the Netherlands, get mauled by random girls daily. Yeah, it's a tall country. Did you see the Mike versus Greg drama? Is it something new? Do you remember Dr. Amin Ra? I can't even remember the impression. Let's see. Guys, this is Dr. Amin Ra. I live on nothing but sunlight and eat 800 calories of plants a day. And I am crazy strong. That guy. I believe that I am the incarnation of a pharaoh. Follow me for fitness advice because I'm totally sane. That dude, yeah, I remember him. And people want to clown on me when there's dudes like that out there. Delusional. Enjoyed your appearance on the right? No, it was fun, dude. And he and I had some good banter. Like we talked 30, 45 minutes off camera too. How long did it take you to get from one plate to 2 plates on bench? I don't know. I don't even remember. I don't even know what year that happened in. And not being condescending, it's just that was so long ago that I have no context for it. Yeah, it probably took a couple months. I mean, go from one plate to two. If I had to guess, I mean, I couldn't tell you what year it happened in. I'm going to say it probably took me anywhere between maybe 2 months and 5 months, something like that. If I had to guess, something like that. Yeah. I squatted 225 my first time squatting. How would you rate the ab wheel out of 10 in terms of effectiveness? I think it's pretty good. If your shoulders can handle it, I think ab wheels are pretty solid. You can also do barbell rollouts to replicate the same effect. Right? So like 5 or 10 pound plates on a barbell. The guy who previously benched 400 is probably a couple months. Yeah. Yeah, it's good shoulder mobility exercise at the same time. So, I mean, a lot of ab exercises, I like to think about what else do they bring to the table because we could just do crunches otherwise. So it's like we start looking at what else do they do. Ab wheels added on dynamic. A hanging leg raise has its own extra benefits. Yeah. But yeah, the hanging leg raises are great. This guy thinks he's clowning and he's never actually done them. What's funny, I have a newer client who's a fighter. He was doing the hanging leg raises for like 13, 14. I had him do the swings like I do. He's like, oh my God. He can get 6. He's like, I can get 6. He did them on camera. And he's a BJJ guy. So he's like, these are legit. So it's kind of funny. But yeah, those leg raises, the way I do them, I learned that from Chris Duffin, by the way. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. So So how would I rate the ab wheel out of 10 in terms of, I'm going to put it probably about an 8 out of 10. Mark Ripito says crunches. I wouldn't worry that much about his opinion on it. Stick to his novice advice for novices. So for smaller muscles like the biceps, would you want to target them specifically? Well, you're going to have to use a lower weight to some extent because they're a smaller muscle. But I don't think you need to necessarily train biceps different than other muscles that you isolate. Their skeleton, there's nothing special about their structure or muscle fiber distribution where they necessarily need to be trained different than your quads or your pecs. Work them through full ranges of motion with progressive overload and work their functions. No, I don't feel like doing a Ripito impression. I mean, I could, I just don't feel like it. Unless it's do your fives. I mean, Margaret, right? Yeah, because I'm just calling you done. Yeah, I mean, do what Strap on Destiny's talking about. Just put some straps on and go really heavy. I think it's pretty obvious to everybody that this Castle guy doesn't actually lift. He's a total non-lifter. He's just a total clown of sesame. He probably never touched a weight in his entire life. He's probably like fat and got Cheeto dust rubbed all over his big old Buddha belly. Yeah. His big old got Cheeto dust. Oh, man. Thoughts on the arm blaster? I mean, yeah, exactly. He's sad, Marcinio, isn't it? That's why he hides behind a thing. He won't show his real name or face because he knows he's pathetic. He's sad. Truly sad individuals. Thoughts on the arm blaster? I think they can have their place if you get a lot out of them. If you need a really stricter curl, I think absolutely. I think they could be a useful tool. In some ways, kind of replicating a little bit of what you get out of a preacher bench. Yeah, he's getting attention. He'll never go away because he's like, oh my gosh, I get to be seen in the Jason Blaha stream. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. And he just spurts all over the screen. He explodes. I know you disagree, but my long femur bent over squat feels better when I'm looking down, looking up. Well, I don't think you should necessarily look up, Mastermind. I think neck should be relatively neutral. And here's what I would say. Usually, if we're looking at building a big squat, your neck position will kind of be determined by your strong position. In other words, when you grind a heavy rep, right? So when you grind a heavy rep, wherever your head goes to when you hit the sticking point is probably where you should keep your head at all times. So if for you, when you get to a grindy one, if you go to that neutral position that you're talking about now, if that's where your head naturally goes as soon as the bar starts to stick and you have to grind, that's probably where you should just keep it all the time. My opinion. Because that is where your nervous system wants it to produce maximum force. Yeah. I agree with keeping my back straight. Yeah. So yeah. And I know a lot of strong squatters who do agree with that same position. I originally came to that idea chatting with Clint Darden about it, and he broke it down for me. We were having a conversation many, many years ago, and we were on that topic, and he kind of broke that down. I'm like, wow, Clint, that makes a lot of sense, bro. Makes a lot of sense. So it's like me. I've learned a lot of what I know just from other coaches. I mean, I've learned a lot coaching my own people in the trenches, but we all stand on the shoulders of giants. There's so many great coaches in the past out there who passed down so much knowledge and little things like when you talk to other coaches and lifters and you compare notes, the craziest things come up of, hey, let's talk a little bit about head position and your nervous system on the squat. No, Rock, because you don't want to be tracking something because your head is going to move. Like if you keep your neck in the position where you're strongest and you go up and down, your gauge is going to go up and down with your torso because your whole torso is moving. You're squatting. So if you're staring at a point, your neck is going to move. And you're trying to find your strong position and to stay there. So I'm going to say probably not. And I know that's an old key. People are like, stare at this point. No, I'm not going to agree with that. Some bodybuilders can't even squat, hold your hands against the plates. Dude, it's a lot of power lifters, and it's unfortunate. I feel like I'm almost at that point. If I wanted to do the best low bar squat possible, I really need to set up a rack that's in closer so I can take that squat bar and get all the way out. I would probably, me personally, I would probably do better on a low bar that way. I don't have the best setup to really do it without risking pinching a little bit with the J hooks. I'm very close to that point. I've been doing SSB for a while now. I'm not sure how to fix it. Yeah. True. You're going to have to learn when you get back to a normal bar. It's going to be different because that SSB totally changes the head and neck dynamic big time. So you've been using it for a while, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a different beast. Yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with the safety squat bar. Love-hate. It's a wonderful tool, but my God, do I hate it. Can you be a power lifter and a bodybuilder at the same time? Plenty of people have. There are IFBB pros who've broken world records in powerlifting. So that pretty much answers that question. And that has happened all the way through all of powerlifting and bodybuilding history. You ever heard of this guy called Franco Colombo? So we go up to current with Stan Efferding. Stan Efferding, IFBB pro, who broke all-time world records in powerlifting after getting his pro card and still being a pro bodybuilder. You can go further back, go all the way back to like Franco Colombo in the 70s. Dude was a world-level powerlifter, winning Mr. Olympias. Right? So pretty straightforward. Do you think you will get to a 700 deadlift? Probably not. It's not on the radar. It would be nice, maybe. But I'm just going to focus on just getting stronger on other things and my deadlift come along. I'll keep working on my deadlift still. But 700 feels like such a stretch. Like there's other things I would like to hit first before I even try to say, can I get to this? Because it's a long way off. Of all the other YouTube antagonists, who did you enjoy making videos about the most in terms of entertainment value? I personally found you and Callie. Probably Callie Muscle. Those were hilarious. They were funny. Did he do Strongman 2 or World Stronger? Yeah, Franco did Strongman also. Yeah. I mean, he was a serious boxer. Like he competed in boxing. Dude was an all-around athlete, right? Dude was just an all-around athlete. Successfully competed in 4 different sports that we know of. He might have done more. And literally in the best in the world at some of them. Pretty impressive, all things considered. You know, some people are just born for greatness. Do you think a 400? Honestly, I feel like within the last couple years, I've gotten closer to a 400 bench and a 700 deadlift. Yeah, I honestly feel like it probably is. And it's because for me on the deadlift, I feel like my grip always limits no matter what I do. So for me to get to a 700 deadlift, I'm going to have to really, really, really grip specialize on another level. All right. Hello, couch. I'm on the couch. I'm on the chair, actually. Um, how do you feel about having a labor-intensive job like going to the gym regularly? Yeah, you can balance them. Fatigue management, not doing jump volume in the gym, making sure your nutrition is on point. That's going to be your keys. But if you have a really labor-intensive job, you can't goof off in the gym with too much jump volume. You need to be focused on what you're doing, and every set needs to actually count and be there for a reason, right? But if you do that, you can make phenomenal gains as a construction worker or whatever. It can totally be done. Yeah, the 400 bench. I mean, I hit that 365. I've had done it both close and wide grip now. And I did a 2-second pause at the 365. Like I felt like had I just been willing to keep getting bigger. So I'm going to get to the 375 this year. That's the goal. And I kind of have a game plan with the training. 400, I don't know. We'll see. But I felt like with the deadlift, I was really hitting a wall in the low 600s. Like that 635 was everything I had. And I still felt like my grip was completely limiting me on it. So again, that's still another 70 pounds away. And I've only pulled it off one time. I've only deadlifted the 635 one time. And my grip was really and truly holding me back. So to me, the idea of being able to even hold the 700 at the lockout is just, I'm not sure how I'm going to pull that off. I don't have the biggest fingers. Like I have shorter thumbs. It's going to take it would take me really doubling down on the grip training to pull it off. Like on a very serious level. I wouldn't be able to play around. It'd be like, let's live on that axle bar. Do you think growing, well, since I've lost about half of it, and then I would have bloody lesions from my psoriasis and the other half that is growing, because you can see the bit that's growing, I need to shave it. So this back here would be bleeding, and I would still have a giant bald patch up here. I don't think that would help me much at all, no. My incline is an exaggerated pushback bar path, any delt specific, the straight down path destroys my shoulders. All my pressing are thumbs on the smooth for carryover. Have you considered maybe it's that really close grip though that may be beating your shoulders up there? That's also why you're getting the pushback. So it's your grip that's causing that bar path. So a closed grip incline, you're going to have a more curved bar path like that. Look at the biomechanics involved. Like step back and look at it, and you'll see what I mean. So grab a broomstick or an empty bar and film yourself with a wide grip versus a closed grip, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to push back up over towards your face due to the biomechanic nature of it, because you're doing a true closed grip. Thumbs are on the smooth. That's 16 inches apart. That is a true closed grip. So something to think about. So it's just unavoidable with the bar path you're doing with your shoulders. Is the reason why deadlift suit doesn't add as much because grip strength is going to be a limit, and then the nature of the deadlift suit. This doesn't give the same pop. And so people are getting into position too. There's a lot of positioning to deal with. You kept calling, oh, what? Wait, I just now realized what you said, Jefferson. Yeah, I just now caught. I had no clue until you just wrote it out that I fell for it, and then I breathed. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, so much. Who cares? People know that's not really what I was saying. It's people tricking me with a name. Come on, ridiculous. How important is a gym buddy to a gym with 1 to 10? Not at all. Hey, Jefferson, the reason is because none of you guys told me in the chats till just now. I had no clue. I had no clue at all. Now I see exactly, but that's how immature is that of people to do that and to then think that it's funny. Like you're tricking someone reading your questions out phonetically into a racial slur. I mean, that says more about the people doing it and making a big deal about it than it does me. Like to trick somebody into saying a racial slur basically means you're the racist, or to make a big deal about it, right? Yeah, I had no clue. I just realized people kept asking that name. A few people, this coach, and they put his name, and now that you mention it, now it just clicked. But it's like, yeah, that doesn't say anything about me though, because I'm not out here using that word. This is people tricking me into saying a racial slur. So they're the racist. And then anyone making a big deal about it is obviously the racist, not me. Do you know why someone might have a disproportionately strong overhead press with a weak bench? Yeah, they have weak pecs. Pretty straightforward. I'm about to hit 315 on bench this year. I'm about 30 pounds away over at 180. You probably need to gain a little bit of weight. Yeah. 30 pounds away is a lot on the bench, though. Keep that in mind. You're 30 pounds away, you're going to do it this year. That's asking a lot, depending on how many years of training. I'm not saying you won't do it. Just keep that in mind. You're going to have to build your bench muscles up. You're going to have to gain muscle, right? And phonetically, it's still not going to be perfect. It's very clear that people are tricking someone. But that's the thing. It's like these haters need so badly to prove that I'm a racist. Do you guys remember one of them literally tried to get black men to show up to my door to harass me so that I would shoot one so that he could prove I was a racist? I mean, let's be realistic about that. That's very clear who the racist is. I'm willing to sacrifice a minority to prove this guy is racist. It's like, that's some sick shit. I'm just saying. That's sick. Like, that's sick. That's someone who needs serious mental help. Or they just flat need to be in prison. Ross says, maybe I can recomp some of this dad bod belly fat. That might help you, man. I got the dad bod to daddy programs. Hit me up. All right, we're 53 minutes in. It's 9 o'clock. I got stuff to get done. There's only 12 people in here. I think it's time to wind this down, guys. So we're going to wind it down. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.